After that, we have Robert Lomauro. He's the president of the Somerset Hills YMCA. It's the biggest or one of the biggest? We're going to say the biggest. It's the biggest. It's a very influential YMCA. So, Robert, if you can come up, please, next. Thank you.
The presentation that you're going to see over there has nothing to do with what I'm going to say, so you can enjoy it and watch it. Actually, it actually is a video that was done by the YMCA in Bitola. It was a Balkan leadership conference of youth from the Balkan region. My name's Bob Lomauro. I'm the president and CEO of the Somerset Hills YMCA, which is located in Basking Ridge, New Jersey. And you're probably wondering, what is a YMCA director doing up here at a United Macedonian Diaspora conference? The reason I'm here is because I've had the privilege over the course of the last 6 or 7 years to learn more about Macedonia through the YMCA movement there. Over the course of the next 2 or 3 days, you'll be meeting a number of us. I think there were 9 strong, and I just want to acknowledge first my wife, who is here, Susan Felter, who's on our board of directors, Bob Raymar and Ronnie Leibowitz. Bob is the immediate past chair of our board. Alexander Kokovsky, who is the chairman of the YMCA movement in Macedonia, and 3 of my compatriots who are Y members and volunteers who took away their time from their busy schedules to be here, and you'll learn more about why they're here and what they're doing. But they are planning a trip, 2 trips actually, this next spring. One is a photography trip, and one is a mountains and monastery hiking trip through the mountains of your beautiful country. The YMCA, how many of you have had a YMCA experience? Either, I would assume most of them are here either in Canada or in the United States. I want you to know that the YMCA and the YMCA movement is alive and well in Macedonia. It's only about 10 years old, and our partnership, the YMCA, the Somerset Hills YMCA, as I said, is privileged to actually work side by side with our partners from Macedonia. What is the goal of this local to local, what we call in the Y the USA, local to local partnership? It really is to further the worldwide movement by providing support for emerging YMCAs, and in this case, the emerging YMCA would be Macedonia. I've actually been to Macedonia now 6 times. About a week ago, I was climbing up to the cross above Skopje, actually climbed up to the cross, and you would think that, you know, I would come right back down after being so tired. Actually, from the cross, walked all the way over to Matka. Not bad for a 60-year-old, huh? But while I was up there, I mean, if you've ever been up there, it's one of the most spectacular spots in the world. And one of the things that we've come to realize is that part of, I think, what Macedonia has, one of the great assets, is its beautiful country, its beautiful people, and the culture. And we're looking to see how the YMCA, as a human development organization, a not-for-profit human development organization, can take the best practices that we've learned here in the United States and use those and model those in Macedonia. Because, quite frankly, people have needs everywhere. And the needs here in the United States may be somewhat different than they might be in Macedonia, but the fact of the matter is there are needs, there are human needs out there, and the YMCA, with the scope and the breadth of services, programs and services, and the resources that we have available, we really feel can really provide a better life for the people in Macedonia. You know, when we talk about strategic partnerships, I think one of the reasons our YMCA has been so successful is because we recognize that 1 + 1 = 3, meaning that we can do more together and more will come out at the end if we come together and not work in silos. So we are always constantly looking at ways that we can look at a human need, a community need, and say, who are the partners that would share a common interest and a common goal that could help us achieve the solution to whatever the problem is or was. And so we've been very successful in doing that in our local community. We're starting to do it now in New Jersey with the 40 YMCAs that are now starting to band together and do more things together. We just received a huge grant from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation to provide health and wellness for a national epidemic in this country, which is childhood obesity. And so Robert Wood Johnson has contributed over $5 million over the course of the next 5 years, working side by side with the YMCA to try to combat and address those particular needs. So everywhere that we go and everything that we do and all the people that we talk to are your strategic partners. And let me give you a couple of examples of what's happened as it relates to our partnership with the Macedonian Y. I mean, I met Meto. Is Meto here? Is he? I'll talk to him later. I met Meto in Garfield about 3 years ago at a Macedonian picnic. And later that year, Alexander and Lubin, who is now the ambassador, who, by the way, got all of his training and everything that he knows is from the YMCA, so I just want you to know that. Came to the United States, and we went down and we met with Meto, and this was actually even before the first United Macedonian Diaspora Conference in Washington, D.C. The following year, we came back and we did go to the first Macedonian Diaspora Conference in Washington, D.C. How many of you were there? Which was a wonderful conference. We were more observers and participants from the audience, but here we are. I've been asked now to speak in front of you. So I feel like I've got some Macedonian blood now and feel very, very good about that. And I even learned, never mind. But in any event, you know, we feel that the United Macedonian Diaspora Partnership is a very important one because we know how much the diaspora and the folks that live in other countries and around the world love their homeland. And so we feel that the YMCA, in partnership with the diaspora, can do a lot more to bring good, strong human development and human programs and services to the people of Macedonia. And we're going to continue to do that. But just to give you an idea of how strategic partnerships and how individuals connect when we get together like this, Lou Lasho? I met Lou last year at a conference. He called me about a month or two after the conference, and I met him, and he said, Bob, would your YMCA be interested in partnering with the YMCA, the Habitat for Humanity YMCA in Macedonia? And I said, well, we're planning to have a group of about 7 or 8 young people go over to Macedonia this summer, and we were actually thinking about doing a service learning project. So in late July of this year, we have 7 young American kids going over to Macedonia. They're going to connect with our partners and work side by side with the Macedonian youth leaders, and they're actually going to do a Habitat for Humanity project right in Skopje.